All right, so whether you love Google Spaces or you are not a fan of Google Spaces, I think one thing is undeniable, and that is that Google Spaces is exploding. And if your organization is anything like mine, you're finding that more and more information, more and more tasks, more and more collaboration is taking place in Google Spaces. So today, fan or not, we're going to look at 3 really simple things that'll help you understand Google Spaces and get the most out of it. So the first thing that we're going to look at is how to find a space. This actually isn't as obvious as maybe we think it should be, especially if we're part of a large enterprise. But if you go to New Chat and you go down to Browse Spaces, what's going to happen is it's going to default to spaces that I have not joined that are internal and externally created, and it's just going to give me a list of those. And the really cool thing is that you can actually go through here and you can go see all of the ones that have been shared with you. You can jump in and preview them. And then if you want to, you can block or you can join. Now, this is really, really helpful because the second thing that I'm going to go into is creating a space. And the reason that spaces show up here that maybe you didn't catch in the newsletter or you didn't see on your intranet or latest announcement is the way in which you create it and decide to share it means that it's visible to people in your organization. And by default, this is the place that you go to see all of the spaces that have been created in your organization or which have been created that you have access to. So that's the first thing. Now let's look at creating a space. I'm going to go back to the same thing. I'm going to click on New Chat and I'm going to go to Create a Space. And I'll call this Test 2 so that I can immediately forget that and then be pounded with all kinds of tests in all of my setups. There are 2 basic setups for a group. There's a collaborative one where everybody can kind of pitch in, you can share topics, tasks, files, and stuff like that. And then there's another one that's just announcements. This is one-way broadcasts where people aren't going to be able to comment or come back like that. So typically, if you're thinking about announcements, maybe from a safety group or something like that. And then underneath that, you'll see the access settings. So in the access settings, I've got private, but I've also got Eagle County government. So this is where I could select to create a group that would be open for anyone in my organization to join. In that case, I would check Eagle County government. Now, I'm not going to pummel all of their things with that right now, but that's what I would select there. And then you also do have an option to allow external members to join. Now, that comes with a big caveat, which is essentially they have to have a Google account. So if it's another Google shop and they're using Google, great, that's awesome. They can join provided that their admin setup allows for that. But if you're talking about having external members who are maybe not on Google to join, it gets a little convoluted. It's totally possible. You can set it up by assigning a non-native Gmail account with a Gmail account, and that would enable somebody to get in, but they'd still have to download the app to their phone or go to chat.google.com or something like that. So yes, you can allow external members, but the actual experience is maybe more narrow and probably best suited to other organizations like yours that are on Google. But that's how you create it. And so I'm going to cancel out of this and I'm just going to go down to a space that I have already created. So I have one here. This was set up and I want to now look at how to share a space. So we already talked through the setup where you can set it up so that other members and external can join. But you can also, once it's created, you can directly add people to it. So if I'm an admin in here, I've created this and I come in and I click on add members, here we are. I can either type a name or I can add a group. So I'm going to type buzzword inbox. That's a test group that I have. And you'll see that I have been able to add the syncing for that Google group directly into this chat space. Super, super helpful because groups are now dynamic, meaning that if you create a space and you share it with a team, if one of your team members just wins the lottery and moves on and is having an amazing time but it's not working on your project anymore, if they are removed from that group, they'll also be removed from the Google Space. So I hope that helps get you started on Spaces. And yeah, good luck.